The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agree to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones update video. In this new video, I want to discuss what happened when Mr. Harrington sat down for an interview at Jimmy Fallon's late night show. As you all know, HBO and Kit Harington have been working on a new series set after the events of Game of Thrones. The Jon Snow show will focus on his life after he was sent north of the Wall at the end of the final season of the original series. So far, HBO hasn't made any official announcements regarding the Jon Snow series, but a lot of information has already been confirmed by George R. R. Martin himself. We already know they have been working on this show since Game of Thrones ended over 3 years ago. As of right now, HBO and Mr. Harrington have done a great job at guarding their secrets about the show. All of the sensitive information regarding this show's story has remained hidden, and I know how you can do the exact same thing whenever you're online. All you have to do is jump on this amazing new offer while you still can. I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Private Internet Access VPN. I personally have used a VPN for years and I use it anytime I'm on the internet. There are so many benefits to using a VPN service. Not only does it guard your information and identity by putting a virtual barrier between you and anyone trying to hack you, but it also opens up access to internet and streaming services that are locked in your region. If there is a show on Netflix you want to stream or a YouTube video unavailable to your region, you can go in and select which country you want to appear to be in, and you can instantly gain access to the internet as though you're in that country. For example, I wanted to go back and watch the Lord of the Rings movies before watching the new Lord of the Rings show, and it wasn't available here in the US. So, I switched my location to Italy, and I was able to stream all 3 movies for free. Watching Netflix without PIA is like getting dozens of gifts for your birthday, but you can only open up one. PIA is one of the best services in the world with over 30 million downloads and 10 years of VPN expertise. If you go to piavpn.com/thrones, there will be an exclusive discount waiting for my audience only, and it is completely risk-free with PIA's 30-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer service. PIA now has 50 servers in 50 states, meaning that it is the best and fastest VPN in the US. You can now watch any TV events without blackouts, plus PIA is one of the only VPNs to offer P2P sharing. Now, PIA will also block ads, trackers, and malicious websites. PIA is available for all platforms including Windows, Android, iOS, and many more. You can protect up to 10 devices with your PIA subscription at the same time. PIA is completely transparent. Not only is their VPN code public so that you can take a look under the hood and examine just how secure it really is, but PIA also has a no-log policy. They don't save any logs, so not even PIA can see what you're doing online when you're connected. Once again, go to piavpn.com/thrones today and get 83% discount for 2 years plus 4 months for free to start protecting yourself today. You don't want to miss out on this amazing offer. Thanks again to PIA VPN for sponsoring today's video. Alright, now let's have a look at what was said during Mr. Harrington's recent interview on the Jimmy Fallon show. In this new article, it says he isn't giving anything away when it comes to the future of his Game of Thrones character, Jon Snow. During Friday's episode of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, host Jimmy Fallon asked the actor about the validity of rumors surrounding an upcoming sequel series about Snow. While smiling and scratching his ear, Harrington kept his response simple, telling Fallon, "I don't know. Do you want to have it?" Although the actor is remaining silent about the new show, even informing Fallon, "I can't say anything about the upcoming series," Harrington noted that there is one reason why he would do a sequel series, and that's to get more attention. He said, "I don't know, man. I walk down the street and I get recognized a little less nowadays, and it kind of hurts my ego, you know? I got a tally in my head of how few photos I get asked for in a day," Harrington continued. "And when it gets below a certain number, I think I'll do a spin-off show." That's when Jimmy Fallon made a joke letting the fans of Kit Harington know not to ask him for a photo. He said, "If you do it for the next few days, by Monday, we could have an answer, and we could see a Game of Thrones show right now with Jon Snow. We will do this together." Now, although they were joking a little bit right here, I do still find it interesting how Mr. Harrington hasn't shut down the rumors about the new show. I think he could easily say the show will not happen at all, but that's not what he does. In fact, what he does say is, "I can't say anything about that because HBO doesn't want him revealing anything just yet." Another thing I find very interesting is how he asked Jimmy Fallon if he wanted this show. That lets me know he is wondering if the fans are still interested in watching a series about Jon Snow. If you saw his recent interview during HBO's first ever fan convention for Game of Thrones, then you would know Harrington still thinks there is some unfinished business with Jon Snow. During that convention, Harrington also revealed that Snow was not okay where fans last saw him at the end of Game of Thrones. After the series finale, which saw him killing Daenerys and being banished to the Wall in the North, Harrington said his character would have felt he got off lightly. He said that the fact that he goes to the Wall is the greatest gift, but also the greatest curse. He said he's got to go back up there with all this history and live out his life thinking about how he killed Dany, and live out his life thinking about how Ygritte died in his arms, and live out his life thinking about how he hung Ollie. And he said that's interesting. So I think where we leave him at the end of the show, there's always this feeling of like, I think we wanted some kind of little smile that things are okay. But he's not okay, added Harrington. And I believe this is what he will want to explore in the new series.
My question is the fact that your character, Jon Snow, he goes through such a progression throughout the seasons. He's a ward, he goes to war, so many things happen to him. He finds out that he is, he's a Targaryen, and then he unfortunately has to kill Dany, and then he goes, they throw him in jail, and then he ends up back on the wall. Do you ever feel like your character may have been cheated? He kind of goes back to really, the wall isn't exactly the most comfy place on earth. I felt bad for him.
Yeah. I think if you asked him, he would have felt he got off lightly. He, at the end of the show, when we find him in that cell, he's preparing to be beheaded. And he wants to be. He's done. Like, the fact he goes to the wall is the greatest gift to him. And also the greatest curse. He's got to go back up to the place with all this history and live out his life thinking about how he killed Dany. And live out his life thinking about Ygritte dying in his arms. And live out his life thinking about how he hung Ollie. And live out his life thinking about all of this trauma. And that's interesting. So, I think that when we leave him at the end of the show, there's always this feeling of like, I think we wanted some kind of little smile, things are okay. He's not okay. He's not okay.
We would see how Jon Snow deals with the aftermath of everything that has happened in his life thus far. Not only that, but I also think something would happen that would force Jon to go south again. I believe some serious issue would have to arise, driving him to go south and face it head on. Now that is certainly a show I would be interested in watching. Not to mention, Jon Snow could also reunite with a lot of his old friends and enemies. There were several actors from Game of Thrones who have already said they would love to come back to Westeros. The actors for Arya Stark, Samwell, Brienne, and a few others are ready to come back into the Game of Thrones universe once again. So there are a few options for the direction of this show. Although Mr. Harrington still hasn't confirmed anything himself, he has said enough to let all of us know he's still thinking about Jon Snow. And I know all of us Game of Thrones fans are as well. As always, make sure you subscribe, that way you're up to date whenever any new information is released regarding the Jon Snow show or House of the Dragon 2nd season, as well as George R. R. Martin's The Winds of Winter. Like I have said before, I will be here making videos every step of the way. Also, don't forget to go to the link in the description so you can start guarding all of your information today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope all of you have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.